Committee reports. We do have a couple of appointments to make this evening or consider. One is Mr. Brian Fisher to term as Commissioner on the Russellville Housing Authority. Do I have any kind of a recommendation in regard to that?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to appoint Mr. Fisher to the Russellville Housing Authority. All those in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The second one is consideration of appointments to the Cemetery Commission. Rebecca Howe Gosnell to fill vacancy of Mr. Tom Halas, and Anna Fields and John Harris reappointments in their terms. Do I hear?
I move that we confirm all three of them, Mr. Mayor. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Finance Committee, Mr. Horton.
Mr. Mayor, the Finance Committee met last week, produced a list of items for the council to consider. Item 1, to replace the part-time secretarial position in the city attorney's office with a full-time. Finance Committee recommended that, and we make that in the form of a motion.
All those in favor of that say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Item 2, resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to apply for and sign, if granted, a 90-10 grant from the Federal Aviation Administration on behalf of the airport. Finance Committee recommends that in the form of a motion.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mayor, item 3 is a piggyback item for the last one. Resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into an agreement with Miller Newell Engineers for the engineering work on that project, and that is recommended in the form of a motion.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Item 4 is an appropriation for street fund. It is a pass-through repair on a snowplow for $3,035. That is recommended in the form of a motion.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
5 is an appropriation from Capital Parks Fund. It is for security camera and public address system at the Parks Department. The committee recommended that in the form of a motion.
All those in favor?
Mayor, can we have some discussion on this for a second, please, Mayor? Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is going to come out of the recently passed sales tax renewal, correct? I guess I have some concern over taking money out of this to fund $20,000 today, 4 months into it, when we pretty much the purpose of this fund was to put some trails in Russellville, light the soccer complex, and a few other things. And any money we take out of it before those two things happen are less money that we're going to have on those two projects. And I believe that we've already found out that we're probably not going to have a matching grant for the lights of soccer complex that we thought we were going to have when we went into the sales tax election. So we're going to have a higher expense possibly there if we don't find more alternative funding. So I have a little bit of question if this is just quite the best use of this sales tax money. This is a capital item. We're going to have a capital budget. Why wouldn't these things be in the yearly budget or the yearly capital budget instead of the sales tax money?
Well, now, you make a pretty good points, but the trails and the lights were primary. Well, they were the major projects that the Parks and Rec was going to engage in, and that's correct, right? Those were the two major things, and then wasn't there some language about other projects as well?
Yes, there was.
I guess the question is really, is $20,000 going to be enough money applied to other projects, to make the lights and the trail systems inadequate, especially, I think, given the, fact that an updated camera system will, absolutely increase the security at the Hughes Center, where there is, I might add, lots of use and quite a bit of criminal activity. So, I mean, is it enough money that it's gonna hinder and hamper the other two projects?
Mr. Irwin, I can't answer that, but I can answer that we don't know that until we get into those two projects. Typically, we fund capital items through a capital budget, and I'm not sure why we're not doing this the same way. Mr. Hollis indicated last week at the meeting that he was suggested or asked to come before us to ask for this out of the sales tax money, and you know, if we start doing that, other departments, you know, what are we setting as a precedence, and what's our priority here?
Well, can Jerry help us out
Let
with
me,
that?
that's what I was going to ask. Mr. McCoy, what was the amount that we projected in that particular section from the tax?
1.3 million,
That's what I was thinking.
and so this is not going
Yeah,
to significantly hinder that
Insignificant.
in any way. And
We have had
This-
some issues there that desperately need surveillance, and I would certainly recommend this to be funded.
Mayor, I'm not opposed to these two items. I'm just opposed to funding them the way it's being proposed to fund.
I'm not
We-
sure it's
we
improper to
found-
fund it this way.
We found $250,000, I think, out of our other accounts to buy land for the fire department. And we can't find $20,000 to do the same for a security system at the Hughes Center? That's my
Well, we
question.
didn't have land acquisition wasn't part of the sales tax either, was it? Just the building itself, right?
Nope. It's all inclusive. That's my only objection is we found ways to fund other things, and we're taking away from two important things of our community by doing
I'm
that.
not sure we're
Was
taking
this-
anything away. I think we're probably adding something too.
Was
That's
this
probably
approved?
needs to
Excuse
be
me.
added.
Pardon me for interrupting. I didn't mean to cut you off. Was this approved at the Finance Committee meeting?
That is
Horton?
the committee's
Okay.
recommendation.
yes,
Okay.
And it
And
is-
we do have a motion. All those in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Ah,
Okay, would you read the roll, Ms. Collins?
Mr. Horton,
ah,
Mr. Roberts,
No.
Mr. Martin Owen,
Aye.
Mr. Seth Owen,
Aye.
Mr. Tripp,
No.
Ms. Freddie Harris,
Well, I missed the agenda meeting, so let me just be clear before I vote. Am I voting to take it out of the 1 cent sales tax versus the capital funds?
yes.
That's what I'm voting on? Or we don't have money in capital to fund it?
We don't have any capital
We don't have
budgeted.
any capital?
We don't have capital budgeted today.
We haven't done it yet this
We
year.
have not put forth the
The
capital
sales tax has
estimate.
also had other projects,
It was
as opposed to the
designated
two
for
majors.
other equipment and projects.
Correct.
I just don't know, I don't know on this one. I agree with Mr. Tripp that it should be capital. I agree that we need a security camera at the Hughes Center. Now, which fund do we take it out of? That's what I have to decide.
This money is capital money.
It is capital money?
It's just coming, it's the 1 cent sales tax going into capital.
Got it, okay. Okay, yes.
Mr. Stuber,
No.
Need my vote. Pass or not?
I've got 4-3. You missed somebody, Mr. Horton.
Mr. Harris is not here.
4-3.
Okay, that's right. So,
Mhm.
yes, you'll need to pass. It needs
I
5
vote.
affirmative votes.
I vote yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, item 6 was an appropriation from street sales tax fund, $62,000 to rehab signal work at Highway 7 and 64. The committee recommends that in the form of a motion.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
7, appropriation from the police training fund, $16,193.50. This is a reimbursement, it's basically a pass-through, is that correct, Mr. McCoy, from the U.S. Marshal Service? The
This-
Finance Committee recommends that in the form of a motion.
All right, this is not a reimbursement, isn't that correct, Chief Humphrey? This was for
Forfeiture.
forfeiture of a bus that was made, isn't that correct? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, tonight we tabled discussion of the Public Works Engineer position. We had a line to discuss the Aquatic Center. That is an ongoing discussion. We are still processing, so no action was taken on that. 3, an appropriation for police for salaries. It's a budgeting item, $667. The committee recommended that in the form of a motion.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Item 4A and B are line item transfers for the police department, and the committee recommends that in the form of a motion.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Horton.
Mr. Mayor, that's all we have.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Stuber, do you have Personnel Committee?
Yes, we have one
Report.
item on the agenda here that pertains to personnel policy handbook as it relates to weather, inclement weather, and the change is in your book here. And I move that we suspend the rules and read that one time by title only with an explanation from our attorney or Tracy.
I'll second that motion.
Yeah, it's gonna be read by title only.
Okay. We have a motion to suspend the rules and read one time by title only. All those in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Attorney?
In order to amend sections of the City of Russellville Personnel Policy Manual for the purposes this ordinance, if passed, would amend the Personnel Policy Manual, page 9, concerning the inclement weather policy with the attachment that is hereby attached with this ordinance regarding inclement weather and the employees having to come in whether or not such inclement weather is it makes it whether they can or cannot make it, and also if they cannot make it, that vacation will be used up if they elect not to come in or cannot come in, but the city is open during that day.
Any other?
Move to adopt.
All right. Do we have a second? Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt. Any further discussion? All those in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move we adopt the emergency clause.
Let me call
Second.
roll
Just
first.
a moment, and we'll call the roll
Oh, I'm sorry.
on this.
I'm
You're
sorry.
good.
Mr. Stuber,
Yes.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Mr. Martin Owen,
Yes.
Mr. Seth Owen,
Yes.
Mr. Tripp,
Yes.
Ms. Freddie Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Move we adopt the emergency clause.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the emergency clause. All those in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Your Honor, before we move on, there's one thing I'd ask that we back up to item 2, discussion of the aquatic center.
Could we take a vote on the emergency clause
Mm-hmm.
first?
Yeah, we did. A verbal, yes. Does that need to be?
It needs to be roll call.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Mr. Seth, did you
Mr.
second it? or
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Stuber,
Okay.
and then,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Stuber,
Yes?
Mr. Seth Irwin,
Yes.
Mr. Martin Irwin,
Yes,
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Mr. Tripp,
Yes.
Ms. Freddie Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Your Honor, I'm
Mr.
sorry, but item 2 on tonight's Finance Committee, the Finance Committee recommended reconvene the Pool Committee.
yes.
You're correct.
And
I failed to note that.
I think I don't,
I thought that was part of your comment that you made during that.
well, I don't know if I don't know that it may have been, just don't know if that needs specific attention or not.
I
I
think
know
we
that-
shortened Mr. Tripp's motion to, just to table it, but that was the discussion, that we
That
Yes.
was- yeah.
reconvene
I-
the pool committee
I-
and
Yeah, I think everybody is aware of that. I
Okay.
think the clerk has that as part
Okay.
of her.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that.